I didn't want to make this video. I didn't think I have to make this video, but here we are. In the last one, I installed a 32 gigabyte memory module into the QNAP NAS, and I thought I was done. And booted up just fine, no problems. But behind me, and you can see that I'm running Memtest86, and it is spewing out all sorts of errors. So I gotta go take care of this. And then I was thinking to myself, if I'm having this issue, then there's probably more of you guys out there that's having the same issue. So might as well make a video of how to install Memtest86, run it on your system, and check the validity of your QNAP memory. So let's get to it. By the way, my name is Stanley, and welcome to Superpower User, a TechTube channel focused on computer builds, hardware reviews, and tutorials. If you find this video useful, make sure to hit that like button and perhaps consider subscribing for future videos if that sounds interesting to you. What I'm going to do is bring you up close to show you what's going on here, and then show you what I've got going on with this NAS right here. I've been running Memtest86 for the last 36 minutes here, and it's telling me that I have 1 bit in error. So I got a total of 1, minimum, maximum, average of just 1 bit. And however, it's throwing out all sorts of numbers of errors. And even if it's just 1 bit, that's bad, right? It's bad. So what can I do? All I can do is really pull it out and then, get it replaced. Since I bought it from Amazon, it's relatively easy to get that replaced, so that's not a problem. The other thing is, it possibly might be just, it's not seated correctly in there, but then if I'm going to take this thing apart and open it up again, I might as well get the replacement from Amazon and just, be done with it once and for all. So in order to run Memtest on a QNAP NAS, what you will need is a USB thumb drive, a USB keyboard, and a HDMI cable or a VGA cable, depending on your NAS, whatever it can output, so you can be able to see what you're doing on the monitor. So the first thing what we're going to do is download and install Memtest86. The first thing we're going to do is stick the thumb drive into the computer and make sure it's a thumb drive that you can format and you don't have any data left on there, so that you can just get rid of it. Navigate to memtest86.com. I'll make sure to put all the links in the description below too, so you don't have to memorize this stuff. What we'll need to do is to download the Memtest86 4.3.7 old release. Depending on your QNAP NAS, your NAS may not have the ability to boot UEFI, which the newer versions only support UEFI. So make sure to just grab the old one. I tried the 8.1, or I tried the 5 point something, and then the version 5 that QNAP was recommending didn't work. Tried the 8.1, didn't work. It only worked with the old release. Anyway, you just grab the USB bootable drive, download, open, and then copy the contents out, which I've got right here. So double click. I've already got the USB thumb drive inserted, and all you need to do is to select the USB thumb drive, which is D right here. Write to UDF and basically select it. Select this. Step 3. This is where the image is. It's on my desktop. By default, it basically found it anyway. And then just click write to UDF. And yes, it's correct. Final warning that it's going to be wiping everything. That's fine. And then it's done writing. So now what you have is a USB drive that's bootable, and it's got Memtest86 on there, and it's ready to go. So what we'll do here is pull this out now and plug this into the back of your NAS. So what I'm going to do here is walk around and plug it in to the back of the NAS. All right, now what you need to do is make sure that all your drives are pulled out so that it won't boot the operating system, your software, the QTS software is actually on the drive. So if you pull that out, it won't affect the data on your drive. So just to be safe, right? And now with this pulled out, what you want to do is to connect your HDMI cable, which I've got here. This device has HDMI out. Again, yours might be VGA or whatever. So connect that into the monitor. And last thing you need to do is to connect a USB keyboard, which I've got here. Connect to the back and go into that keyboard right over there. So what we're going to do is switch the input over to HDMI. And of course, you're not going to see anything because the NAS isn't on yet, but we're going to power it on and hit the delete button. So booting up, keyboard lit up because it's working, and now just hit the delete button so that we can go into the BIOS. Eventually, it'll light up, starting, delete, 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 delete. Ah, here it is. So it's already gotten to the BIOS. And let me reposition this camera so that you can see what's going on with the BIOS. So there's two ways to do this. The first way is you can go over to boot, change the boot priority to SanDisk Cruiser Fit or whatever's the name of your USB drive, and change it to that, and then you're all right. Or you can go over to save and exit and go to the boot override, and you click that and it'll boot the USB drive. So what you'll see here is the QNAP is booting, it's doing this thing, and then it's already running Memtest86 off the USB drive. So there you go. It's running, running, running. It's detected the errors, and it's doing the different passes, and it's throwing out errors. So if it's your first time using Memtest86, basically it's going to run the different types of tests, filling up the memory with the different patterns, the different types of data patterns, and then it'll try basically all 32 gigs or however many gigs you've got. And by the time it finishes through all the tests, it'll either be good or it'll be bad. I mean, it'll be very clear. Most likely, if you have a bad memory, it'll start throwing out errors immediately. It won't be it won't be hours down the road before it starts to throw out errors. It'll be pretty quick. The last thing you'll need to do after you've confirmed that either you have an issue with your memory or you don't have an issue with your memory is to change all the BIOS settings back to what it was before. So again, go to boot and change it to USB disk mode, a disk module. And from here, you save and reset, pull out the USB drive, and then you're good to go. So yeah, that's basically how you run Memtest86. Now, the method that I'm showing here applies for both desktop PCs and QNAP NASs, since QNAP NAS is essentially a desktop PC with PC hardware and BIOS and everything. The only thing to keep in mind is that the version of Memtest that you're using. So version 8 or the newer version, it's going to be UEFI only. Now, if you want to boot on these legacy devices, you'll probably have to use the version 4, non-UEFI Memtest86. It's probably just safe to go with the older versions. I mean, they work just fine. and even with older versions can work with newer UEFI BIOS desktops, because those desktops, they have legacy modes too. So yeah, that's basically it. If you found this video useful, make sure to hit that like button and perhaps comment down below your experiences with Memtest86 and QNAP NAS or Memtest86 in general. Anyway, we'll see you in the next one.